We're going to be talking about water, contamination, filtered water, ways that you can travel with it, ways that you can use it, different uses and benefits, and how it's really impacted us in our life. This is going to be a powerful episode, so stay tuned. Okay, let's sync up.
All right, head to the right, body to the left. Breathe in.
We're here with Shayne from H2 Water Experts.
Happy to be here.
This is the first time we've all sat with you together.
Yeah, no,
It's always been you and Garry.
Yeah, or me and you, or
yeah.
This is nice.
Welcome.
This all started off with a call. Shayne said he had a concussive force and he was dealing with it, and I reached out to him in our Facebook group about 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was about 2.5, 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago coming up.
Yeah,
and,
crazy.
And here we are. I mean, we've been talking today about water and how water is so important in the human body. Now, this has become more and more important. And one of the things that how we value this is that we take these, and we have multiple of these now, and we have them in different parts of the country and the world, and we ship them to locations before we go in there, so that we can maintain our water as we're moving, because of what it does from a health perspective. And we want to get into a little bit about this and talk about this at the kid level. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about water machines, and I think we all have some questions.
Awesome. I like to answer questions. My favorite.
I think even just like on a personal level, I mean, we're traveling a lot right now, and we're minimalists. So we're always bringing like literally the tiniest bag with the least amount of things possible. And then somehow we end up with all this luggage. And that's part of it. It's like we're bringing that everywhere we go because of the value that I've found in having good water everywhere. Because we're primarily made of water. And right now, traveling all throughout the US and Canada, there's chemicals in the water. I mean, we've been looking at, if you go to EWG, it'll run reports on what you're actually finding in the water specifically. And you'll find arsenic and PFAs and, all this crazy stuff in the water, and you'll laugh. But when we travel, I'm actually sometimes taking filtered bottled water in glass, and I'm using a washcloth to clean myself because I'm not willing to put myself in a shower with all the chemicals in it. And so part of it is like, how do we maintain a healthy lifestyle while traveling and also in different areas of the world? This machine has been helpful for that. I think maybe one of the first questions is, what does that filter? Because if I'm going to the US and it's got, 15, 25 different chemicals in the water, how do I know that I'm doing the right thing by drinking through that machine?
That's a great question, because, with this water, and with all water, it is very important to make sure that you clean it out before you ingest it. And so this machine, unlike any of the other ionizers on the market, has actually been tested against 249 contaminants, including fluoride, and been shown to remove all of those, which is cool because it actually keeps the minerals in the water still. And so it's a very unique way of filtering it. It's 2 stages. There's 2 filters in there, and it's got 16 stages within those that will really help make sure that water is clean before it goes through the magic of the ionization process and adding the hydrogen and splitting the water. It's really, really important, because this water becomes more bioavailable to your body, and so does everything else that's in the water. So it is extremely important that you are filtering things like arsenic out, because the last thing you want to do is make arsenic more bioavailable.
And how do you actually test?
Well, that is a tough one, because even when you mention EWG, it'll show you the different carcinogens that are in your water, but there's still things that are left out from that website, like pesticides and pharmaceuticals. And so there is a lot to you can do very extensive testing. There's usually a testing facility local-ish to you that you can take it to. There's tests that you can order online, but some of these, the tests that we ran for the 249 contaminants, we're talking thousands of dollars to test against all of these different contaminants. And it's 249 contaminants it's been tested against. That's not limited to those 249, but we can say from those contaminants, we're doing a very good job of purifying the water before it goes through the ionization process.
Yeah. And do you have any filters that you can buy before that?
Absolutely. So there's hard water protection filters. If you're in say Nevada or Arizona or Florida, actually a lot of places in the U.S. have very hard water. You'll want to protect your machine, like the tubing and everything inside of the machine, so that you don't get any buildup. So there's that, and as well as the staff with Alkaviva will help you, ensure that you have the proper filtration for the area that you're in.
Yeah.
There's some well water that's going to need a little bit extra filtration.
That's how we have it in Mexico, because it's well water. So we have to have all of the modifications to be able to run the Alkaviva there.
Yeah.
And I'm also asking because, it's interesting when you ingest water versus when you put it on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in Malibu, what I noticed is, because I wasn't using the shower water, because it's completely toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I was using the Alkaviva, and I could still feel a little bit of something in the water.
Yeah.
And so then I'm asking, is there a pre-filter? Because obviously I want to have the best water quality possible when I'm putting it on my skin. I couldn't notice it when I would drink it, but when I would put it on my skin, I noticed a little bit. So I'm curious, is there pre-filters that we can use prior to that for certain chemicals that maybe it's not getting?
Yeah. So my guess from what you're saying is that the water in Malibu is probably a little bit harder. And so we didn't have the hard water protection before that, but there is also 0.1 micron filters. So it'll remove everything up to 0.1 microns. There's post-fire filters. So, for Lahaina and in the Okanagan here, and where there's fires, what comes with fires is a lot of VOCs, like benzene becomes a big issue, and that gets into your water, and you're going to want to make sure you take all of that out. And even fluoride. Fluoride, the standard filtration will remove 70% of fluoride, but there's an upgrade to full fluoride protection, which will remove 99.9% of it, which is really where you want to be at. That's in most places in North America, at least.
So is that a separate machine?
No,
or is it inside?
Yeah, so that will you just be replacing one of the filters that's inside. Yeah.
And what is hard water?
Hard water is a water with a high TDS, so total dissolved solids. And now that can be made, part of that can be healthy things like minerals, like calcium, magnesium, but on a very higher level of healthy additives. But there's total dissolved solids will also include your arsenics and PFAs and pharmaceuticals and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after traveling, I think that's pretty much necessary everywhere, except Europe didn't seem as bad. It felt better when we were there. Colombia just had a bit of chlorine.
Yeah, but the water itself, the feeling was very different in there. Even the one that came out of the Alkaviva tasted very different in Colombia.
Yeah.
Compared to when we use the Alkaviva in other places.
Yeah.
So part of the journey is generally when most people would use this at home, and at home you have a standard water, whichever it is, and you can source that and figure it out, and you can help people figure that out. When we're traveling, it's using I guess probably one of the more aggressive filters in North America, fluoride, but outside of North America, you can pick a filter that kind of catches all.
Yep.
And that's been our journey. But to the point of why ionization, and what I mean by this is that a lot of people are using carbon filters or reverse osmosis filters, and they're harmful for the body. Like reverse osmosis is should not be drinking at all.
No.
And why is that?
Well, it's not meant to be drank for prolonged consumption. If you need it in an area where you have parasites and stuff like that in your water, sure, but you really do have to make sure that you remineralize it. The main reason why is because it kills your water. It makes it dead water, and then it'll also turn it into like distilled water, which is again primarily used for medical devices and used for making perfume. It shouldn't be drank on a regular basis. It will bring that TDS down to 0. So now now we're talking pure H2O, and H2O is a solvent. There's a lot of people that drink 3, 4, 5 liters of reverse osmosis water a day, but they're chronically dehydrated. Like, how does it make sense that they're drinking that much water, but they're still dehydrated?
So for simple terms, when water doesn't have minerals, it collects minerals. So it goes over a rock in the like over a waterfall or through nature, and it grabs minerals from that and puts it in the water, which we drink.
Yeah.
So if we take the minerals out in reverse osmosis, for example, and we drink it, it actually takes the minerals out of us. That's where the issue is. And the minerals are required in order for the body to hold the water. That's a simple way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like you hear me say it a lot. If you don't filter your water, you become the filter for your water. The same theory applies with if you don't have minerals in your water, you become the minerals for your water. And that is why people that drink demineralized pure H2O are dehydrated, because your body's out now having to work harder because the water that you are putting in your body is stealing from you and running right through your body.
Does that maintain the minerals?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why you need hard water protection if you are in harder water areas, because it will keep the calcium and magnesium and the good stuff in your water. But if there's too much of the good stuff, if everything in balance, then it can create issues inside the machine.
And so, I mean, we've had limited conversations with each other in terms of what the Alkaviva does. Because for me, I'm not big on the science. I just want to know, does it make me feel better and help me function better in my life? But I did listen to part of your conversation, I think with Garry at one point, where it was talking about what that actually does. Correct me if I'm wrong. So to break this down, H2O cleans things. It absorbs and takes things out.
Yeah, it's a solvent, yes.
Yeah. Whereas H3O2 is the water you would find in like coconuts and watermelons and cucumbers in nature running down a river stream. Okay, so it's just the structure of the water. The H3O2 absorbs right into the body and hydrates the body immediately. Whereas H2O doesn't.
No.
Okay. I also heard that the body produces cellular waste, something called free radicals.
Yes.
That cellular waste is OH negative, correct?
OH neutral.
Okay, OH neutral.
Yeah, and it's important to understand that, actually.
Yeah. And so if we add more H's to that, it becomes water. And if you add more H's to that, it becomes structured water, or H3O2.
Yeah.
Okay, so that machine is pumping more H's.
Yeah, so it's pumping more H2 in particular, because H on its own, hydrogen on its own, is extremely volatile. It'll immediately find another hydrogen element to bond with. So it creates the H2. It also creates OH negative, which is what makes the water alkaline in pH.
Yeah.
But the H2 is what goes after what you had already mentioned, the OH, the free radicals in your body, and it helps clean that up, because there's an extra large amount of that particular free radical being created in our bodies right now because of the foods that we eat, the drinks that we drink, the air that we breathe. This is creating what many people look at as an acidic body or an acidic environment in their body. And so, but hydrogen is getting, outside of the alkalinity and the pH, hydrogen is getting to the why our bodies are acidic to begin with. That's because of the overload of oxidative stress, and an overall imbalance at a cellular level. And that's what hydrogen does in an incredible way, is gets right into your cells, permeates through the cell membrane, and not only will clean up that OH, that free radical, convert that into water to be able to be expelled out of your body easily. But it also will, for lack of better words, it'll get on its soapbox and get the bullhorn out and tell everything else in the cell how to operate properly. Mm-hmm. So you'll improve mitochondria function, which is where our energy comes from. So you get improved energy, increased cognitive function. It opens up anti-inflammatory pathways. And so now you're reducing inflammation starting at a cellular level. It'll regulate your body's own hormones in a natural way and just help you reestablish and maintain a healthy, balanced lifestyle, which is really what we're trying to achieve here.
So we're running tap water as H2O cleans my body, which is not necessarily a good thing because it might take things out.
Exactly.
Like minerals.
Yeah.
So H2O goes through that machine. It becomes this structured water that my body absorbs faster, which takes cell damage or waste and converts it. Because what I notice when I drink that is I feel more hydrated on the inside. And from my understanding, it's taking a molecule in the body that's damaging and it's converting it into hydration.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And what's the difference between like alkaline water and this specifically? Because I see that it's becoming that it has becoming over the last couple of years very popular, like the alkaline water and also the reverse osmosis, just as a machine, and people drink directly from that, like if that was great water or the alkaline version. So what will you say is the difference?
Well, I mean, the alkaline water, whether, depending on if it's alkaline through a machine like this, or you're adding maybe baking soda or trace minerals to it, it doesn't alkalize your body in the same way that people think that it's doing. And so I use the analogy of if you cut open an apple and let it sit there for half an hour, what happens?
It goes dark.
It turns brown. So drinking alkaline water is like cutting that sliver of brown apple off so you get fresh apple again. But if you don't change the environment in which that apple is in and you let it sit there for another half hour, it's going to turn brown again. So you got to start thinking about why. Why is the apple turning brown? And that's because of oxidation. And similar to in our bodies, the reason we're acidic, the reason people are unhealthy and sick is very much due to the oxidative stress and inflammation that we carry at a cellular level. And then that's why by ingesting hydrogen, drinking hydrogen water, breathing hydrogen in, you're able to reestablish that balance at a cellular level, and then it starts working its way outwards, and your body starts operating the way it's supposed to be operating.
So what is, for somebody who doesn't understand what alkaline versus acidic water is just the amount of hydrogen molecules in it?
There's a number of different things that can go into it. For example, that OH negative, like I said, is what makes the pH in the alkaline side of the water from this machine alkaline. However, that's not even a true buffering alkaline substance. And meaning if you put even a couple of drops of, say, lemon juice in the water, which is good to do as long as they're organic lemons, that will immediately bring the pH back down to neutral, if not acidic. But this is where there is a lot of confusion, right? I mean, take, for example, a do-it-yourself alkaline water. A lot of people have been doing lemon juice and Himalayan pink salt, which we now know you should be using Celtic salt. But that's a good go-to alkaline water. Well, lemon juice. It's pretty basic knowledge that that's acidic. How is that alkaline in your body? It's because lemon juice is full of vitamin C. Vitamin C is an antioxidant. By then reducing the oxidative stress, you're actually achieving what you're trying to achieve with alkaline water.
There's a simple premise in the body, which I don't think people really understand. Put your hand up. I didn't tell you to push against me.
Yep.
The body reacts. And so if we give the body acidity, it reacts with alkalinity to rebalance. If you give the body alkalinity, it reacts with acidity.
Yes.
And this is a premise that has been lost. Our pH stomach is a pH of 1.
Yeah.
And if you take acid water with 1, and you take a glass of alkaline water and you pour a little bit of acid water in there, it immediately affects it. And it's no different inside. I think the pyloric flap is the thing that it opens up. It helps your body when you drink alkaline water. But after opening up that flap, there is no benefit to the health of the body. That is completely bunk science, and it has been debunked a million times now.
Yep.
So the greater issue is what this is impacting. Like we've talked about some of the why it works, like the hydrogen and stuff like this. What does it impact in the body when you drink hydrogenated water? Because at the end of it, we can say structured or whatever, but what we're saying is hydrogen water, H3O2. What are some of the things that it immediately benefits in our daily health?
I mean, this is why I always revert back to balance, because it's going to be different for everyone. Some people are going to get increased or better sleep. Some people are going to get improved cognitive function. Some people are going to get increased energy. Some people are going to get all of that, and it really depends on where the person is coming from. But I can be pretty confident in saying that if you're dealing with issues like lack of energy and so on and so forth, that it is likely stemming from oxidative stress and inflammation. So,
well, I think we can say this. The body produces 10 liters of hydrogen a day.
Yeah.
Naturally. Under a moderate amount of stress, it's down to like 5. Under a lot of stress, it could be 0 to 2 liters of hydrogen. Hydrogen is what's taking out those free radicals. And if our body's in stress, which we are today because of our environment, we don't have the capacity to produce. It takes too much energy.
Yep.
And that energy is what's stealing away from all the healing functions.
Yeah.
So basically, in a stressed out world, drinking hydrogen water helps bring our body back into a normal balance that it should have been in if we were living in nature.
Yep.
Drinking water from a stream.
Breathing normal air, eating food from the planet, and living the way we're supposed to, which 99.99% of people don't.
So if I drank out of a stream, which it's funny because we're told not to drink water out of nature.
Yeah.
But literally every time we go
the waterfall.
Every time we go up to Shannon Falls, even in Costa Rica, we drank out of the river there. And that what's interesting is the water that's running in that river is picking up all the information from the environment there. So I'm getting the minerals and the vital nutrients in the soil and all that. And we've been, I think, programmed in a way to be scared of that, because our body is a strong filter as well.
Yeah.
But the water that is coming out of there is similar in structure to the water that's coming out of a river.
Yes. Yeah, very similar. And that is becoming harder and harder to get now because of the mass amount of chemicals that they're, spraying and using in farming and stuff like that. And so you got to go to the highest tops. The higher you go, the better the quality of the water is going to be. But you're absolutely right about the memory. I mean, we've seen Masahiro Emoto and his experiments with frequency in water and its importance and water's memory, and so this is really important to know that you're getting that high level, that top level water, and you have it right at your fingertips whenever you want, right here.
Yeah. Well, they're even testing now on the top of mountains. The snow has
aluminum
chemicals in it. Yeah.
Very strontium aluminum.
Yeah. So chemtrails in the air.
Yep.
Comes down, and now it's in the water systems. Glyphosate is all through the water systems in the U.S.
Yep.
So it makes sense to have some sort of filtration, which I think is important.
You must filter your water.
So now that I'm understanding it, we basically have dead water, which is where we take everything out. We have water that cleans and absorbs things. And then we have living water.
Yeah.
And ideally, we want the living water in our bodies to function optimally.
Yes.
And we can get that in nature, or we can get that through a machine that's adding stuff into it.
Yeah, I mean, the convenience aspect of these machines is incredible. You have it right there. You don't have to worry about the many different contaminants that are in your water. You can be, rest assured that the filtration is going to take care of that aspect for you. And then with my help, because I'm very passionate about making sure that when you have these machines, you're using it to the best of its ability, then you can also use all the different levels that come with it for cooking and cleaning and skincare and watering your plants. And there's a laundry list of different things that you can use for it. And that's really what I want to see people have is value.
Well, that's, I mean, even when I cut my foot, remember I cut my foot in Cancun, and Garry was like, put, I think, acid water level
acid
2.
Yeah.
And it cauterized the wound. How does that even happen?
It's the opposite of the hydrogen in the alkaline water. It's the oxygen that's in the acidic water that's helping with that.
So it closes wounds so that they can heal faster. Yeah,
and also disinfects in a great way. So this is why it's so important for families, right? Your kids are going to be outside, they're playing. It's only a matter of time until they, fall and scrape their knee or something like that. And you can clean that out with rubbing alcohol or hydrogen peroxide and enjoy the screaming for a little bit there. Or you can just use the acidic water that you have at your fingertips here. That'll clean it out. I mean, you experienced it with the fire ants in Tulum. I remember that. And Jordan's experienced it with cutting himself here.
And yesterday.
Okay.
Maxine last summer, when she got stung by a
wasp.
We put the acidic water and the pain went away.
Yeah, and it's phenomenal for reasons like that. Even with sunburns, it can, and then acne, pimples, rosacea, eczema, psoriasis. I mean, eczema, psoriasis, rosacea, those are all things that stem from something going on inside. So you have the beautiful aspect of using the acidic water topically for that. But then also the benefits of drinking the hydrogen water is going to help you reestablish that balance inside. Psoriasis is something that I dealt with on my scalp big time. And growing up, I had eczema, and it's embarrassing in certain aspects and painful. And so, it's if we can help kids out in that way, right? Get them healthier, younger, and getting them focused on, what type of water they're drinking and passionate about the type of water that they're drinking. It's going to bode very well for them going forward.
There's a whole other issue, and where these come into play is that we spend a lot of money on cleaning products, and even if we're using the best organic cleaning product and we clean the floor with it, what we're doing is we're leaving a film residue of something I still wouldn't put in my mouth.
Yeah,
and being able to put the acid water into the cleaning devices, it cleans better, faster, it cleans the windows better. It's stronger. As we did a demo here, we had this cloud on the mirror that we couldn't get off with any cleaner, and it came off the first time with this.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
And then all the way to the flip side, to take oil-based, petroleum-based pesticides off of the fruit with 11.5.
Yeah, and all pesticides. I mean, you can buy your vegetables and your produce grown organically. But I mean, especially in a superstore or supermarket, guarantee. Listen to the wording. It's grown organically. So it may have been grown organically, but as soon as they harvest it and put it into transit or transport it to you, it's getting sprayed with herbicides and pesticides.
Yeah.
And this is one of the very reasons why our bodies aren't creating the amount of hydrogen that they used to, because it's damaging the guts and it's taking away for our ability to do that. And that hydroxyl radical that we talk about, the funny thing about it is it's a byproduct of the energy created in your body. So it's a byproduct from your mitochondria. And so what happens is if your body's not creating the amount of hydrogen that it needs to keep up with that, your body's now using more energy to keep up with that, which then creates more of the free radical that you need to keep up with. So then you need more energy we're stealing our body of the energy before we even give it a chance to be used in a proper way.
Are we getting more hydrogens from breathing?
No. Not this area. You're getting negative ions if you're right down by the ocean, and I would be willing to venture a guess that you're getting much better oxygen when you're up in the mountains. But for breathing regular area, not only are you not getting hydrogen, you're getting whatever it is that's in the air.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why these things are so important today is because we have the chemicals in our food supply. We have it in our water. We have it in our air. And so whether we're drinking water or whether we're absorbing the air and breathing it into our lungs, this is part of the reason why we need to have something like hydrogen production in the water and the filtration. It's to bring us back to balance.
Yep.
And that's really what it is. It's helping us. Plus, it tastes good. It's hydrating and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now we also, what I love this is that I travel. I use this all the time. Very surprised, by the way. This is to create hydrogen. What I love about it is it's a personal hydrogen site, and it only takes a couple minutes to do it. And I charged it. I've charged it like maybe 3 times or 4 times in the last couple months, and I use it every day.
Yeah.
When I'm traveling. But this is another way that we can personalize get water, because when we go in an airport, we buy the best water we can behind the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, is I would take this in and I put hydrogen in there.
Yeah. Well, we experience a lot of oxidative stress when traveling, especially by plane. With the EMF radiation that comes from the planes, the increase and decrease of pressure in our bodies that we don't notice as much. There is a lot of oxidative stress that happens. So a bottle of this before and after a flight is going to do wonders for you when it comes to your overall fatigue and jet lag from traveling. And it's also, so this, a lot of people that have a machine like this that are doing a lot of traveling, perfect for them. It's also perfect for people that might not be able to afford a Alkaviva H2 machine yet, but they want that hydrogen, and they want it somewhat at their fingertip.
So you could take like carbon block filtered. There's some good filters out there, and you can take a reverse osmosis even.
Yep.
You can put it into there.
Yep.
And then you can.
It'll bring the life back to that water, because the reverse osmosis is dead water. This is like taking a defibrillator and like pumping that energy, that life back into the water, and while doing so, creating that hydrogen content. And we've tested out dozens of different bottles on the market, and this is by far the best, most potent amount of hydrogen. Like, it'll create it, and you'll open the lid and you'll see and you see the gas actually come off of it. It's incredible.
How does it, is it vibrating it? Is it?
So it's doing what this is doing, but combined in a smaller level. So this little guy here is basically like the plates that are inside this machine, but instead of separating the water, it actually just outputs the oxygen gas and keeps the hydrogen gas in this water. It actually doesn't even change the pH, but you'll get what is considered it's considered supersaturated, meaning that there's no more hydrogen that can actually get dissolved into the water when this is done, creating a 10-minute cycle. And that's why you see the gas kind of come out of it, and it opening like a soda can. That's a good way of looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Soda water is just water with carbon dioxide into it. These are just hydrogen bubbles. They're just healthier bubbles for you.
Yeah. And I think too, like, whenever we teach people or share with people what they can do to help themselves, I always go to the heavy hitters. It's like, what are the things that are 8 hours a day or all day you're using, right? It's like you wear clothes for 16 hours a day. Well, if there's chemicals in your clothing, you probably want to change that. The other ones are water and food, and those are the primary things that we recommend that people make sure that they get their handle on. Because it's like, when you start to clean your environment, it can be overwhelming. It's like, where do I start? Where do I begin? And I think that water, food, and what you put on your body are the easiest, lowest hanging fruits to start with. And, that's why we literally, as honestly, as annoying as it is to carry that thing in airports, everywhere we go, we bring it because it's so important. And water, when our water's off, when we arrive at a place, our whole team starts to become dysfunctional, because then your hydration goes off, then you get tighter in your body, you're not sleeping as well. Even the maneuvers, I can feel like my skin starts
like tearing.
It starts to tear, especially in the US. So, it's such an important element of our daily routine, and honestly, that's why this product is in our lives.
I'm looking at the foliage and the background here, and it's the difference between a leaf that's connected to the tree and getting the nutrients, and a leaf that's now dropped off. It's a dry leaf compared to a hydrated leaf. The dry leaf's gonna crinkle up.
I believe you.
So leave me alone.
A couple things. Number one, it's really important that we've been working with you for several years. There's home systems, there's personal systems, there's water pitchers, we're just talking about a small portion of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we appreciate about you the most is you create content, you help people, you educate, you get on the phone, you talk to people real time, so they can actually reach out to H2 water experts. They get a special discount coming through Human Garage. They also get supplements when they buy a machine. So there's a whole bunch of reasons to talk to you directly, and you can find you in and on our media. You can find you through H2 Water Experts on your Instagram page, and it's been a great partnership because you've helped so many people. But you also have home house, full house systems.
Yep.
And the most important part, I think, is that you're actively there to support people. They're just not buying a machine, and they're not buying a machine from somebody who doesn't know, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of people making claims about which machine and what works and what doesn't work. But you have studied this, you're trained, you've been educated multiple times, you've been certified in multiple different processes.
And you care so
I
much.
I do care quite a bit. I mean, that's why customer service and support is everything to me. I don't really care how good your product is. If you don't have the service and support to back it up, then it really doesn't matter. And I always want to go that extra level, like I said, and make sure that you're using it to the best of its ability. You're using it for more than just drinking water. Don't get me wrong. Just with the filtration benefits and the hydrogen benefits alone, this machine is well worth the investment. But it does make 8 different levels of water, and those all have their own different uses. And I want to be there to help you make sure that you get those uses.
And I think something cool that it has happened is that as we travel and we bring the Alkaviva everywhere, is that wherever we stay, most of the time, people have asked to buy and to keep the Alkaviva for them.
Yeah.
No, like when we stay at a property for 2-3 weeks, or like when we went to Costa Rica or to Casa Mayacan or places, they're like, no.
We have to keep getting new ones because people keep taking ours once.
Yeah, when we travel.
You guys can leave now, but the machine can't. Sorry. It's good though.
No, even people that don't necessarily understand or have yet access to the information of everything that it does, they feel the difference. People that maybe has never cared about water that much, like when I think it was Costa Rica, but the difference was so noticeable after 2 or 3 weeks that it was like a no-brainer. So even if they don't know the science and all of that behind, like the feeling still quite strong.
Absolutely.
And the impact.
I think a lot of people, myself included, have at one point thought or said, water is water.
Yeah.
No, it is not. I can adamantly say
or a
that
filter is a filter.
Yeah.
Or all ionizers are made the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used all of those things.
Well, I mean, we're traveling a lot, and you get to feel the water in different areas.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even just out of the shower, you can feel if it's silky, if it's like more harder,
dense. Yeah.
if it's
viscous feeling.
And I was excited to come back to Lions Bay because the water is out of the river here and it feels like silk on your bodies. And then I found out that our house filter wasn't working.
Oh no.
And we found out because the skin got all funny. Because somebody said it.
Yeah, the more in touch you are with your body, the more you're going to recognize these subtle nuances, and that's a good thing. You should be noticing those. If you're present and in your body, you're going to notice it.
Yeah, and that's really what I like to go with, the feeling. A lot of people want to understand why it works and what the science is, and we've talked about this. It's like you've got an iPhone. You know how to use it and it works great. Or you want to know what's inside of it and all the science behind it. And for me, I don't really care that much about the science. It's more, I can feel it. And when I shower or when I drink water in different areas of the world, I notice.
Yeah.
And it makes a big impact on my day-to-day routines. I move mountains to make sure that I have good water. Like I'll literally, in Malibu, I was filling up bowls and using that to wash my body, which is so inconvenient. But when you get to a certain level of self-awareness and taking care of yourself, I treat my body like I would as a professional athlete. I want to perform the best that I can in all moments, and making sure that my water is good is super important to me. And so, we didn't have it for a couple of days, and I felt the difference, and I'm super happy that this is part of our lives and our daily routine. And that you're also there to support us every time we break
Like
a machine on the road or
have a
we
connection
can't.
issue or
That is Garry. That grabs the machine and he's like, turns it around and shake it.
hey, that's all good. You can do it.
Give me water.
That's okay. I've always got your back if that happens. So.
And you have. I mean, we've called you at crazy hours of the day to try and get the water sorted because it's a priority to us. So thank you for everything that you do for our community.
No,
I mean, it's not just for Alkaviva. You really support people and educate them, and you care. And I think that's really why you're here and a part of this. So thank you.
No, thank you. I
Appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys. I couldn't be more grateful and blessed to be a part of everything that you guys are doing. I've loved watching this grow in such an exponential way in the short period of time that we've been working together. And for me, it's just super exciting, the future and the road ahead of us. I think there's just, you guys have helped millions of people and you're just getting started.
Yeah.
And so to be a part of that is amazing. Now bringing a son into this world, it's good to know that we have a really bright future ahead of us with, us putting the work in and doing everything that we need to do. So thank you guys.
Appreciate you, Shayne.
I
Thanks,
appreciate
Shayne.
you so much.